So there's this thing happening, blah, 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 happening. Oh my God, that was horrible. There's this thing happening organically that I actually wanted to do that way, which I plan to do that way, which is where basically my Rumble account is getting a more put together side of me, a more, I guess, less negative side of me. And my YouTube accounts have been basically just me bitching or yelling or being pissed off every so often. Um, and yeah, I kind of wanted to make my Rumble account like that because really it's always been my intention, as I've said before in other videos, that I want to make helpful videos for people, like I really do. They help me already a shit ton. And oops. And yeah, they help me deal with my own shit. Like, probably in different ways than they'd help other people, but regardless, it helps me. So, yeah, I've wanted to make videos like that, but where I'm actually being like a teacher, not all fucked up. And I mean, I know a lot of teachers are all fucked up and they teach that way too, all screwed in the head and shit, but you know, it's always better when they're put together and you feel like, oh, they know what they're talking about. They they seem legit. And well, it's kind of hard to take advice from somebody about being peaceful and coming to terms with your life in a positive way when they're constantly making videos bitching and venting and just being pissed off about things. But the fact of the matter is that I don't think that ever really goes away for people, at least not in its simplest form, meaning like venting and being pissed off and all that. Any kind of like misalignment within your emotional, mental bodies, that's just going to be a natural thing in this world because of how fucked up it is. Like, obviously, you're going to have some, times where you're not exactly where you want to be mentally and emotionally, but it's easier to overcome when you have certain tools set up in front of you for you to deal with them. And those tools are different for everybody based on whatever it is that they've dealt with in their life, that they've experienced. And for me, one of my greatest tools lately has been using video diarying, basically, to express myself and you know try and help myself, because literally, if I've had nobody to help me with these issues in particular, they don't. It's hard to help somebody when you don't understand what it is that they're going through or what they're talking about. you know it's hard to really understand them. And I can see why a lot of people, smart, seemingly, at some point put together people, end up in mental institutions or even in prison and jail, because it's just easy to get frustrated and lost within yourself when you don't have the right tools in front of you to deal with everything. So yeah, with that being said, this is a venting video. So I tricked you there. Yeah, this is a video. I just wanted to talk a little bit about some stuff of mine that's been irritating me for a long time now, and I've attempted several times to deal with it, but it seems it doesn't ever work out the way I want it to. There's always like a another thing that I have to do or say in order to, get my message across. But basically, it has to do with a video that I made a few days ago, a message to my dad video where I was explaining to him what I felt like might help his issue, his condition of, what's wrong with him, his glaucoma, and how I felt, it might be relieved. And I'm serious about this. Like I'm not I'm not making it up, or I'm not, just, trying something new. Like, I really honestly believe that if he were to do this, that it would help him. I really do. And, so I explained it to him in a certain way through text, because or through video, I mean, and we were talking through text. Because I asked him if he had watched the video, and he said yes. And basically, what happened was, he said what he said last time that I tried to bring it up, and what my mom said last time that I tried to bring it up, which is the past is in the past, and it's better to not relive it over and over if it's painful, especially. Okay. And the reason why he said that was because he said that, him and my mom talk about the past, and they want to play the blame game on each other, and it just doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't lead to anywhere but negativity. So that this is why it's better to, leave it in the past. The thing is, I agree with that to a certain extent, right? And I can't, and the thing is, I just stopped the conversation there, like, because I wanted to keep telling him, explaining more, but I felt like it was just gonna keep going into that. Like, I didn't want to go into the details of, I tried to do that already with my parents. I tried years ago, like, fucking, when I first moved back here, when I was first on this mission of helping awakening people, starting with my family. When I first moved back here, I tried to do that with them, but it backfired on me. And I see it's not a good idea to try and heal people of your family, especially if you have direct drama encoiled within theirs. Because if you're not healed yet, what happens is you just become an, you just become an object in that drama unfolding. You lose any chance of becoming objective, and just an objective spectator, and you become sucked into it, and you start becoming a part of it. And that's what happened with me. I wasn't healed yet fully from, the stuff that upset me about them as a child, their parenting, their techniques or whatever. And I I couldn't even bring up that idea without starting to get already very, crying and emotional about it. And when that happens, what happens is people tend to lock up already, because people are not comfortable with emotions. Well, not some people are. Some people are to an extent. If it comes to like certain people that they know aren't comfortable with dealing with emotions, and it becomes a lot harder to deal with them, and it's more convenient just to not, at least around them, those people. But most people like me, star seeds, light workers, we are comfortable with emotion, where we can go be alone and let ourselves be free in our emotions, allow ourselves to fully express them. Like, not everybody has that capability. Most people, when they're alone, tend to just try and reel in as much as they can. They tend to try and like put themselves at a mental stability in their head where they're like, all right, buckle up, bitch, like, settle down, calm down. They're just trying to regain the control within themselves. They're not really listening to what it is that their body and their mind and their spirit is trying to tell them, during these moments of frustration. Um, so it's not the same thing, we're not the same people. I'm not the same as other people who do that. I'm different. I cry, I express myself, I let it out. I talk to myself. I let my body feel what it needs to feel when it needs to feel it. If I have to be alone, I'll excuse myself, or I'll just fucking leave, to do that if I know it's going to bother somebody else. I put my emotions before anything else, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing in everything we do is our emotional mindset, our emotional stability. And if we're walking around with this imbalance of emotions within ourselves, all we're doing is perpetuating that out into the world around us in subconscious ways that we're not trying to do, maybe, or even in conscious ways that we do consciously but are unaware that they're attached to those things, that we're trying to hold in or hide in. So it's not good to just leave the past in the past if you can't even, think about it. You have to be able to think about it and be like, oh yeah, that happened. Okay, well, this is the lesson I learned, whatever. Okay, I'm at peace with it. If you're bringing it up and you're still fighting about it like years later, then obviously you're not over it. You're not healed from it. There's something that you still need to learn about it. And you have to go and you have to let your body feel everything until it delivers the message to your brain of what it is that you're not understanding, what it is that you're not comprehending. And once that happens, it frees all the obstacles, all the blockages, the little tiny clumps of cells that have binded together over time in a certain area within yourself to block those emotional currents from continuing to pulse through you. And it'll loosen those blockages and allow that energy to flow through you freely again, allowing all your cells to continue to run at their natural normal capacity. And all you have to do is fucking feel. Allow it. Don't let it overcome you to where you're like, no, I don't want to talk, or you just completely block yourself off. Like if you need to walk away and think for a little bit, okay, but don't just go and try and close it off and just completely blame the other person, because it's never just the other person's fault 100%. It's never just the other person's fault 100%. There's always something that you can take from whatever negative occurrence that happened, as far as your behavior and what you did, and how you can avoid something like that in the future. There's always something you could learn. And if you're not over it, you can't move past it, well then obviously there's something that you haven't learned yet. So you should deal with that and stop trying to just ignore it. And I want to say something like that to my dad, but I don't know how. Like, I mean, other than this, maybe I'll just share him this video as well, or not. I don't know. I get so like offended when people don't listen to me. Like I get so like, I don't know, cuz I know I'm so fucking smart, and if people listen to me more often, then they would, be a lot better off. But they fucking, I don't know, they think I'm crazy and a girl and stupid, so, and I mean, not everybody obviously, but a lot of people do. And it offends me, and I just, you know what, you're fine, whatever. Do what you want.